Good morning, I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations, small businesses, and nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they're here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some cool friends today. The Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club is made up of current and retired law enforcement officers, as well as current and retired military members. They are dedicated to improving the lives of those in our community and those in the motorcycle community as a nonprofit organization who throughout the year raises money for different organizations and causes. Their members are united in their support of all law enforcement officers and their families and choose to focus on benefiting police officers, military members, and their children. If you fit one of those above categories, come ride with them. The Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club is in partnership with Brian A. Terry's Detachment number 1126. Marine Corps League is hosting a motorcycle ride to honor our fallen heroes on Saturday, September 28th. The proceeds of this event are going to law enforcement officers and veteran charitable organizations. And today, I'm fortunate to speak with Josiah, the road captain of the Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. Josiah, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. As well as Joe, Sergeant Arms of the Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. Welcome to Lifestyle Tucson, Joe.
Thanks for having us.
Heck yeah, I'm excited to talk to you cool guys, riding motorcycles, helping out veterans, helping out heroes. Which of you yourselves are military and or police officers? Josiah, what was your background here?
So my background is I work in corrections right now. I work at the federal area in Tucson.
Yeah, I had a friend back on Long Island, so I'm from New York. I had a friend, he worked in corrections. That's a tough job.
Absolutely.
Tough job, all right? Now, how about you, Joe? What are you up to?
I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, and I'm a retired Border Patrol agent.
My man. All right. Thank you both. Thank you for your service. I'll say that to you as well. And it's really a big deal for what you're doing and a great fun thing that you're doing. But why don't you really give me the 101 of what the Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club is all about?
Sure. So Final Stand is a law enforcement motorcycle club, and it was started by a few agents from here in southern Arizona. And it just kind of started as a club to get out and ride. Working in law enforcement can be pretty stressful, and to kind of deal with some of that stress and stuff, riding a motorcycle is pretty damn fun.
Heck yeah.
Right? So 3 guys got together and formed the club. It kind of grew from there a little bit more and eventually got to the point where, we didn't want to just sit around and ride, or rather we could ride and help people out. There are plenty of clubs out there. There are plenty of organizations that help out law enforcement officers in their time of need if somebody passes or there's an accident or something like that. And we just kind of wanted to contribute. When I joined the club, I come from being a longtime member of a veterans organization, which is the Marine Corps League. It's the only congressionally chartered veterans organization specifically for Marines. I came in and started talking to the guys. And I was like, hey, why don't we do some charitable work? And once we got that going, in July, we got accredited by the Arizona Corporate Commission to be a nonprofit in the state of Arizona. And then just today, as we pulled up to the station, our president, who couldn't be here today, texted the letter we got from the IRS. We are officially a 501c3 charitable organization now.
Kaboom! Welcome to the club.
Thank
All
you.
right. Arizona's got a lot of them, the most per capita, but I'll tell you, it's because you guys are doing a lot of great work, and these 501c3s, we need them. Who owes us all a beer? That's how it works. We all know they didn't let us bring beers in the studio.
Yeah.
But
Didn't
yes.
you tell us to mute our phones, Jim?
It's really exciting to talk about all this stuff because you are doing a lot of great stuff, and you explaining it right there. Congratulations on the growth of your organization and what you're doing, because now you're going to qualify to help out a lot more people and to grow your organization as a 501c3 even more exponentially, because I see it all the time. I talk to 501c3s exclusively, and we really need organizations like yours that really care, because you guys were there, boots on the ground, and kind of know what it is to be in that world. People that work in an industry, because in a way, protecting people, it's an industry in a way, have a lot of lingo, like we were talking about off air, about lingo I might not understand because that might be an insider term. The same with you have experiences that no one else can understand unless you yourselves have perhaps experienced that or something similar. So bonding over that is probably something that keeps you sane. Bonding over this great hobby of being motorcyclists and doing all that, getting out there, riding, getting out in the world, awesome. awesome thing to do. Heroes. It's interesting because when I'm getting all these motorcyclists coming in, people usually think of criminals with motorcyclists, right? Don't you think of that a lot? But I was reading on your website, what made me think of this, and you almost making that joke, it says, we claim no territory. What does that mean on the website, and why is that important to say?
So when a motorcycle club forms, not a law enforcement motorcycle club, but just a motorcycle club in general, what they mean by claiming territory is in the patches that we have in the back, it's known as a three-piece patch.
Okay.
You have your club name at the top, you have your club logo, or design or whatnot, and then the bottom rocker is actually called claiming territory. So our bottom rocker says Arizona, and if you see any motorcycle club riding around, they will have a rocker, and it'll have either the name of a city or a state. Typically, it's a city, and that means that club and whatever enterprise that they are in are claiming that territory. We don't have the name of a city specifically on our rocker. We have Arizona because we're an LEMC. I got to admit, we're not LEMCs aren't really well liked by, they're called 1%er clubs, right? So we stay out of each other's way. Once they see that we are an LEMC organization, they know that even though we have a bottom rocker with a state or a city on there, we're not technically claiming that territory. We're just saying this is where we work, this is where we belong.
That's so fascinating and interesting. Again, something that people probably see all the time when they see bikers on the street. And now you might understand what that all means on the back of those vests. That's fascinating stuff and very interesting to me, actually, to learn all about that. Something that, again, is right in front of our eyes all the time. We might not even understand that that's actually a whole language right there, right on the back of that vest. That's fantastic. Something else that I just learned is, Josiah, what's your title again?
So I'm the road captain.
And what is the road captain's responsibility?
So the road captain is responsible for making sure that we stay safe on the rides. Like the event that we have planned on the 28th, we gather everybody together, make sure that everybody knows what the route is of where we're going, making sure that everybody knows if there's any obstacles that might be in the way on our way there, making sure that we're maintaining the maintenance of the bikes, just making sure everyone stays safe.
Oh, heck yeah. It's good to have someone in charge and taking care of that because that's really important. Safety, a big part of this. Because this big upcoming event that you were speaking about is the Southwest Desert End of Watch Ride on 9/28 in partnership again with Brian A. Terry's Detachment. 1126 Marine Corps League is hosting this big motorcycle ride, and it's going to be a big one. So let's talk about this ride. It's a big, long ride. It starts at American Legion Post 66 in Green Valley. And then where are we going from there? Take us on the tour.
Absolutely. From there, we're going to be going down to Miggy's Bar. After Miggy's Bar, we're going to be heading over to Elgin. We're going to be over at the Copper Hop Ranch. From there, we'll then be ending the ride at the American Legion Post 109.
Right, and we didn't just pick these spots randomly. The ride starts at the American Legion because it's a good meeting point. But the reason that we're going to be stopping in Rio Rico, Arizona, and I spoke with the owner, Miguel, at Miggy's, and he's letting all the bikes, come in there. That's actually where Brian Terry was murdered. He was a Border Patrol agent working with a special operations group out there with BORTAC. And in 2010, as they were working, he was murdered. So we're stopping in Rio Rico to honor Brian, and then as well as a few other fallen officers and agents. And then we're going to Sonoita or Elgin, where the Copper Hop is. We had another Border Patrol agent out there who fell, Robert Houghton, who passed away in the line of duty. So these stops that we're doing are to honor our fallen brothers that have fallen.
Well, that's really important. Again, giving a lot of real credence to why you're going or where you're going. And that's really something special for those families in that area, I'm sure, and for a lot of your family. Because, again, I'm sure that you knew some of these folks, so this is some of your past and your coworkers. It's really important. It's so hard to think about that sort of thing because what you're doing, again, is dangerous. It really is. And I'll just say it, right? Sometimes a lot of people really come after cops, really come after the military, don't they? And yet, when you work at your job, boy, you sure hate when your customers bother you. Well, when it comes to law enforcement and the military, everyone is your customer, right? And that's who they call when they need you the most, but complain about you when they don't want you around or they're speeding too much or behaving terribly. Sometimes it really bothers me about that, where it gets kind of lost in the sauce, and sometimes you guys can get villainized when in fact, like, you're putting your lives on the line and doing real dangerous work, really dangerous stuff, doing stuff at the borders there that can get really scary. There's a lot of horrible, vicious crime that we all know about. And some of you only know about it from watching Breaking Bad. But the real world can be a scary place. Not that I know anything about it. I'm just a big nerd that loves Batman. But when it comes to justice, I know I'm looking at some real superheroes right in front of me. Tell me about what it means to you to be doing this. And how many times have you done this ride, or is this the first?
This is the first one.
That's what I thought. So let's make something legendary and make it annually. Tell me about what it does mean to you that this is the first, and what it means to you just personally doing this and doing those stops.
It means a lot to us to do this ride. Generally, we do one ride a year, and this year the big ride that we typically go on was canceled, or rather it was postponed just due to operational commitment from the club that runs it. And we didn't get to go on our big ride. We actually still did go over to Tombstone, and we hung out, but that was just realistically us. There were a few other clubs there, but we kind of missed the camaraderie of having all the bikes out there, with a purpose. So after that happened, we kind of sat down and decided, well, let's do our own ride. And it's a big undertaking, I think for anybody that does it the first time, because you're not really sure what to expect. Coordinating something like this was quite a lot of work, but we had a lot of support. We had a lot of help by our protected buys, which are our ladies. I do want to shout out Melissa Downs for helping out with the ride. She was able to acquire plenty of fundraising items for us at the end of the ride. As far as putting the ride together, once we get out there, getting all these different clubs together is bringing a bunch of different law enforcement agencies together in reality. I mean, you've got guys from Border Patrol, from Arizona State Troopers, constables, sheriffs, Bureau of Prisons, Department of Corrections, HSI, ICE. I mean, it's kind of like it's almost a networking event as well, but outside of the workplace where we don't have to deal with so much stress, at work, and we can just relax, have a frosty beverage, and get to know each other, and it's all for a good cause.
That's so important. Well said. Well said. Josiah, let me ask you, what does it mean to you, and how do you feel about doing all this?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's been plenty of different other LEMCs that have come out and shown us support. We just hosted a bike night event the other day over at Triple Play, and he was very gracious in hosting us over there, Joe, over at Triple Play. And so a lot of the people that came out there have also said that they're going to come out and support our event on the 28th. And this group of guys, myself and another shout out to Jimmy Downs, we are the newest members to this club. And being able to see the camaraderie just within this club itself, and then within the other clubs that have come out and shown us support, and other clubs that we plan on going out to show and support to them as they host their events in the future, just really means a lot to be able to kind of decompress and de-stress and be with people that share the same experiences that we have.
Yeah, bikers know better than anyone. There's strength in numbers, all right? They showed up like 6 deep here today in the studio. I love it. But if you want to get involved and join, it's $25 a rider and an additional $10 per passenger, so $35 total. So get involved. Do a good thing for yourself. Get out, get in the community. Sounds like a fun networking event to a degree as well, which is fascinating to a world that a lot of us have no idea about, like I was saying. All right, whatever goes on in the world behind the scenes of all this law enforcement, what it is, all those organizations and groups that you mentioned that I ain't never heard of because I'm not in the know in the world that you live in. So it's fascinating to kind of hear about this and get a little peek inside of it. But now, let me ask you this much. When it comes to motorcycle brands, are you all like Harley Davidson alone? What's the deal? I got to know.
Oh, man.
Okay.
We are a group divided on this one.
This is what I needed to know.
We got Harleys and we got Indians.
I was going to say, so Indian is the one I lean to. I was going to say, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. For some reason, I don't know why, I wound up at an Indian motorcycle. I was like, I don't know what it is. This is like a classy looking, fine piece of machinery.
Yeah. Way better than Harley, huh?
Oh, no, I'm not saying nothing. I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
All right?
Josiah and I are both Indian riders, and these guys all have Harleys.
That's so fun. What do you feel is like the difference between them? Give me a difference. Why do you prefer Indian over Harley? And then maybe we get a little taste over here and get an opinion from our treasurer sitting in the wings here.
Well, for me, it's a little bit more personal. I have nothing against Harleys.
Sure.
Harleys actually, it's like a Barbie, right? You can customize them 1,000 different ways, and there's a bunch of third-party manufacturers that make parts for them, and it's actually kind of hard to find them on the Indian. The reason I ride an Indian, my brother he used to ride a motorcycle, and he passed away on his bike. And his road name was Indio, which is Spanish for Indian. So when it came time for me to get a bike as a homage to my brother, I bought an Indian.
That's awesome. That's a great story. That's really important. All right. And again, Harley Davidson is kind of like the Nike of motorcycles too. It is top brand. So as you say that, let me get a Harley opinion. Go ahead. Swing that microphone over there. All right. We got our vice president and we got our treasurer waiting in the wings. What's your name, sir? Our treasurer.
My name is Adam.
Adam, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson. Why are you a Harley guy?
Well, I don't know that I'm necessarily a Harley guy.
Okay.
I have a couple of Hondas.
Okay, Hondas. I was going to ask about Hondas.
And that's where I started. And I have a Harley.
Okay, I was going to ask about, sometimes I know there can be a very divisive thing when it comes to Japanese motorcycles and that. So even having a Honda, that's a Japanese motorcycle, not the style that we think like a Kawasaki style motorcycle. But do you get a lot of flack from people? Or are there jokes to be made or no?
There's always jokes to be made.
Of course there are.
But I did buy the Harley for mostly the sound.
Okay, interesting.
They have a very unique sound.
That's interesting. You know, it's funny because when you say the thing about the Harley being very customizable and then maybe that Indian being a little more unique and harder to find some of those parts, I'm like, it's PC versus Mac right there. That's the difference. That might be what it is. The customizableness of it definitely could appeal to some, whereas just like, this machine's good and I'm not really going to tinker with it. I'm more of this might also lean to who goes in what direction. Fascinating.
Very true. Yeah.
I love learning about all this stuff. I was excited to talk to cool guys, all right? Motorcyclists doing all this cool stuff. So let me ask you, how often do you casually get together when it comes to just hanging out in the like you have these big, you can pass that on back. Yeah.
Why don't you pass the mic to the vice president there? Let him say something.
No, he's good. Okay, he's nothing to say here. Answer me that. How often do you guys just get together casually and just hanging out?
I mean, it's typically several times a week. I mean, a lot of times with our busy schedules of all of us working different times, it can be a little bit difficult. But I mean, some of us are on a daily basis. It can be that we're getting together and just whether it be in someone's garage or meeting at a local bar and just having some time to hang out. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, at the moment, we all live pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a matter of either a 2-minute ride there.
Wow.
Or I think probably the person lives furthest away, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's what, again, getting together in a club is all about.
Yes, a club. A club. Thank you.
Yep.
So let me ask you, just as we look forward to what's next, we've got plenty of time to talk, but what are some of let's look at the past. What are some of the past beneficiaries for organizations that you've helped, whether it's a different thing that you've done since this is your first big ride? Maybe you had a bake sale once. What else have you done to raise some money for some past organizations?
Yeah, so last year we found out through a friend of ours that and I can't remember the name of the church, but it's in Sahuarita. It actually might be Sahuarita Church. They do a food drive during Thanksgiving to help out families in need. And when we heard about that, and us looking to get our name out there a little bit, we actually went out and we partnered again with the Brian A. Terry Detachment, and Final Stand donated 10 turkeys, and then Brian A. Terry Detachment donated 10 turkeys. And what we were trying to do at first is we wanted to get on our bikes, have a chaser vehicle follow us with the turkeys and coolers, and then deliver them personally to each home, right? And tell, say Happy Thanksgiving or whatnot. And then after thinking about that for a little bit, us being in law enforcement, like that might be too much of an asking for personal addresses of people, for us to go and deliver, and it might not be looked on so favorably. So what we did was we got with the pastor and we met him at the church, and we gave him all the turkeys during one of their food drives. We took some pictures, for the publicity and all that. But we got to help out 20 families by donating a turkey. And times are tough right now. The economy is out of control. Inflation is out of control. We didn't know what we were in for buying 20 turkeys, but we did it. And that came at the time we weren't doing much fundraising. So realistically, the money that we used to purchase those turkeys all come from our member dues. So we pay monthly member dues to be in the club, and that kind of just sits there. And it was building up a little bit, so we said, "Hey, let's buy some turkeys and help out some families in need."
That's incredible. Again, doing all that good work, getting together, getting involved, and really helping the community. So important.
Earlier this year, we happened to hear about a fundraising event for a little girl named Olivia, and she has epilepsy. They were doing a fundraiser event at the Triple Play down in Green Valley. They have a really nice setup to play cornhole. They run cornhole tournaments there all the time. From what I understand, the Triple Play is the place to go to for competitive cornhole tournaments.
All right.
But anyways, they were doing a fundraiser there for Olivia, whose parents were split. So they needed actually 2 of the machines that help alert the parents when she's having seizures.
Wow.
So she needed one at her mom's house and she needed one at her dad's house. They did the fundraising event. We went there and helped out. And I think we donated, personally, maybe about $400 or $500. And then we all registered for the cornhole tournament and played and, bought tickets for the fundraisers and all that. I think we also donated something that they could raffle off as well, and told them, if they need anything else or if they come up a little bit short, get with us and we'd be happy to put on something else, to help out this little girl.
That's amazing. Like, again, I was going to ask, I often ask, tell me a success story. That's it. Like, that's so incredible what you're doing, and just seeing that what you can do, that strength in numbers, that community that you can really help. Look at how much you helped one little girl's whole life just by doing that, because what a big ask. It's hard enough to get medical equipment. It's like, oh no, but they need to because things didn't quite work out. You don't think about that sort of stuff. That's fascinating. Way to make a difference, and that's really important. If you had one wish for your organization, what would it be?
Right now, I would say I would like us to go national. So every time when a club opens up in another state, once we get clubs in 2 different states, then we can be a national organization, meaning we're all over the country. So there is actually possibly a chapter opening up in Texas at some point in the next few years, and then maybe in Florida. So once that happens, we're no longer a local Arizona club. Now we are a national club. But the club here in Sahuarita will always be the original chapter. This will be the national headquarters of the club.
I wish you nothing but the best success in your growth at this big event, which, again, let's just recap it. It's going to be the Southwest Desert End of Watch Ride on 9/28. Final stand in partnership with Brian A. Terry's Detachment, 1126. The Marine Corps League is hosting this big motorcycle ride to honor our fallen heroes on September 28th. So make sure you're there, get involved, get all the details, or just go to their website and donate. You can go find them all at finalstandlemc.com. Because today, we made friends with Josiah, the road captain of the Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club, as well as Joe, Sergeant-at-Arms of the Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club, dedicated to improving the lives of those in our community and those in the motorcycling community. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Appreciate you having us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
This was Lifestyle Tucson.
Bing bong bing, time for a recap. Can you tell that I thought that these were the coolest guys? I was really looking forward to speaking with them, and it was pretty much exactly how you're picturing it in your head. It's just Pee Wee Herman hanging out with a bunch of bikers. That's about as cool as I looked, but it really was such an important conversation to have, and I really enjoyed talking to the Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. And let me tell you what happened after we talked, is that they came back into the studio, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? And they go, no, we have something to give you, and it was a challenge coin. So I looked this up, and it's this gold coin, and they gave me a couple because each member or the higher tier members of the group will carry what is called a challenge coin. And a motorcycle club challenge coins, also known as MC coins, symbolize loyalty, belonging, and shared experiences among club members. They can also be used to distinguish members from a specific chapter and to celebrate the freedom of the open road. And it's kind of a tradition that goes back thousands of years, when Romans gave smaller versions of their vexillium, or a flag or a banner or a coin, to individual soldiers to just show, like, good job, like almost like a badge of honor. So let me tell you something. I've been thinking about that ever since they gave it to me, and I look at it every day, and it means a lot that they gave that to me, because we had a great conversation. You can tell I was really looking forward to talking to these officers as well as veterans and talk about this, because sometimes some people get really lost when it comes to talking about this stuff. Again, they mention all the groups of their chapters that they're going to meet up, and it's like a social string, and they mention ICE. And that, to me, doesn't bring on fond memories of when I first heard about ICE coming onto the scene. So you got to understand there's more than meets the eye and a lot more going on behind the scenes of what it is for this world that we live in. And most likely, you got to understand that people and Border Patrol agents, they are not there to just bother random people. All right. There are criminals out there, really bad, dangerous criminals that have hurt and killed friends of these folks. And that's why they're going on this ride to honor fallen heroes and fallen officers. Okay. So I really always want to talk about that and exemplify that when talking about police officers and talking about veterans and soldiers, because sometimes some people are just like, no, it should just be world peace. Well, that would be great. But unfortunately, see the world for the way it is, not the way you wish it to be, is some real advice that I take from my own personal life. But it is some of the way that the world is. It's not easy out there. And it's really important that we have people that care about the community and care about serving the community by protecting us from real criminals and going out there and doing good things. And I'm glad that they get together with each other, honor their fallen friends, and still ride together and just be friends, because that's what a club's all about. And that's what life's all about. It's about finding your team, finding your friends, and that's enough out of me. Honestly, you put up with me for long enough. Really, let's just give you the details about what this really all is that you want to go to finalstandlemc.com. As I was saying, you can go register, get all the information, see a map of the ride that they're going to be taking on the 28th. And you can go to those amazing places they were going to stop at. Again, the map's all there when they're going to Miggy's, they're going to the Copper Hop, they're going to the American Legion posts. You can go check out all these stops, maybe be there to support them and go for the big final stop there and have a good time. So I want to thank our friends at the Final Stand Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are cruising. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers. Toot toot Tucson. I love you the most.